Hey, 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 hey. It is Kim Wade from Inner Gaze. So, yeah, this will be our third week of figuring out the live stream. And I hope you're going to enjoy this series on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock Central. We're getting together because there's a lot of anxiety right now. There's so much. I feel it too. It's just this constant feeling of, I don't know what's going to happen, this uncertainty. So, I'm hoping that these Tuesday nights are a time that you can come, whether you're coming live or you're just watching the videos later. 30 minutes, just check in, chill out, check in, stand still for a moment together. We're standing still for a moment, but we're doing it together. You are not alone. You are not alone. Okay. All right. So let's do it. Turn off your phones. Let's get organized. All right, come on down to the mat. Today we're going to start getting on the mat here, coming into a comfortable position. And as I've said before, if you want to focus on the mindfulness, it's really simple 2 steps. First, how am I doing? And second, do I want to sit with this? That's the 2 things. What am I feeling right now? And am I willing to sit with this? Not jump up and go do the dishes, not jump out and turn on the TV, but really just sit with it. Okay. And again, if you are interested in reminding yourself about these Tuesday nights, hit subscribe and you'll get these notifications. I believe that the live is starting. I'm hoping that you have a consistent practice of pausing. Tuesday nights at 6, and then there's a recording that comes out on Sundays. These are free, just little bit of boundaries for you to take pause. Okay. And if you haven't met Sugar, this is our new puppy. We've had her for 4 days and she's a Sugar. That's what she came with. That's her name. And that's her name, Sugar. So, all right. So about a half an hour hitting the mat, just sitting still for a moment. Let's begin. So for this first minute of mindfulness, first thing we want to do here is, what's going on? What are you coming to the mat with tonight? And so what we need to do is we need to sit perfectly still. Perfectly still. And maybe what you're noticing is a resistance to sitting still. Maybe your mind or your physical body is really resisting this idea of just taking a pause. Maybe that's what you're showing up with. Maybe you're showing up with a really deep need to connect with others because you feel alone. Maybe you're coming with a sense of creepy, crawly anxiety. You're just wound up and you can't relax. You can't chill out. You just feel really wound up. Neck and shoulders just have the creepy crawlies. Or maybe it's something else. So this first minute, I'm going to be quiet and I want you to think about that. What are you showing up with? Where? Physically? Mentally? What's going on for you? 1 minute, please. What's going on for you right now, right this minute? Not earlier today, not over the last month, but right this minute. Are you feeling like your belly hurts? Do you have a sinus headache? Does your throat feel dry? What's going on for you right in this moment? Just sit still here. About 30 more seconds. What's going on? And then we go to the idea of, can you be with it? What if there's nothing you can do for it? Nothing that will make it go away, nothing that will fix it or change it or correct it, nothing to take it away. You're just sitting with it. How do you do that? How do you sit with these uncomfortable feelings? Sometimes it feels like you just want to jump out of your skin. See if you can find out where you feel it and take a deep breath in that area. Almost like you're turning on a flashlight of awareness. So we're not getting caught in the story of what we're showing up with. We're not caught up in that narrative of what it is. We're turning on that witness part of our brain, that observing part of the brain, and we're just really curious about just sitting with it, not getting attached to it, but sitting with it peacefully, calmly. This is our second minute of meditation. Can you sit with it? 1 minute. I like to imagine that I'm lifting up a little bit, looking down on it, just noticing, just observing. And for this last minute here, so you know what you're showing up with, or you have a better idea, you have a desire to sit with it, to be with yourself with it, here with us together. This third last minute of meditation is, what is your mantra for this session tonight? What do you need from it? Knowing what you're showing up with, what do you need? Is it connection? Is it space? Is it openness? Is it guidance? Is it accountability and a boundary? Something you have on your schedule? I had a client say to me, it shows me that I'm okay. When I'm showing up regularly for my practice, I know I'm doing okay. What do you need from this half hour? So taking this time for a 1 or 2 word phrase, what brings you to the mat? And why now together here? Okay, and let's bring our hands to prayer. Just remember what you're saying. Remember your mantra. Remember that intention that you're setting. That's going to really bring you into the anchoring thought. And let's release, finding hands and knees. So what we're going to focus on tonight is breathing. We're actually going to start bringing in the pranayama in all the Tuesday classes. So we want to make time for the pranayama exercises too. So as we hear in hands and knees, I want you to start to pedal through your body here any way you want to, but I really want you to focus on what the breath is doing. We're moving now. We're sliding maybe side to side, imagining that you have this big tail, this big puppy dog tail that you're dragging to the walls, corners behind you, really moving the ribs, expanding them side to side. Maybe you're doing a cat cow where you're kissing the ceiling with the spine, or you're dropping the belly to the floor, moving any way you want to, and maybe all of those ways. But the primary focus is breath. What are you doing with your breath? See if you can stretch it out a little bit more. If you have a lot of anxiety tonight, if you're finding yourself really having a hard time relaxing, letting go, take your mouth open and just sigh. I like to use that term, asking the teenager to take out the garbage. That's how you exhale. It's a really nice way to calm yourself down. Hey, can you take out the garbage? And do it as long as you want. Big sigh. About 2 more of these. The next time you exhale, let's take our bottom to the sky for downward facing dog. One of the nicest ways to get present is to become aware of your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What's the taste in your mouth? What's the smell in the air? What's the texture of your mat? Get yourself really noticing this moment that you're in. Stay still for a moment. Stay still. Two more big breaths. So good. And we're going to walk our feet forward. Now, most of us have really tight hamstrings. If you find that your hamstrings are tight, I want you to bend your knees. You could also take your blocks, if you have blocks, and take out some of the stretch there if you want to. This is your time, right, to meet yourself wherever you are, whatever's showing up, so that you can sit still with it. So get a place where you can truly find that sitting still. Here we go. We're going to take ourselves over halfway. We're going to feel this long spine. Take a big inhale. Maybe you're going to close the lips and start exhaling through that nose again. Start to forward fold. If you have back injuries, you're going to stay up in this, what we call Ardha Uttanasana, that halfway over monkey pose. Everyone else, we're going to just let ourselves find this sense of letting go. Maybe you can grab opposite elbows. Maybe it's grabbing the backs of your heels or your calves. And you're breathing very deeply now. Longer inhale, longer exhale. Just stand still for a moment together. Some of you may want to do yoga mudra where you're taking those knuckles to the sky. This is yours. Maybe you want to be moving side to side. Just letting go, standing still. My goodness, how busy we are. We're going to focus on the neck and shoulders tonight. So we're getting some gravity work here. Allow that head to feel 10 to 12 pounds. See if you can feel yourself getting longer and longer through the neck. If you haven't already, interlace your fingers up towards the ceiling. Join us here with Yoga Mudra and see if you can create this length. Shoulders together and up and over the head. 3 more deep breaths.
Can you sit with this? Can you just be here with this pose? So nice. And gently come back halfway up. Come back to that Ardha Uttanasana. Bend your knees and inhale, inhale, inhale. Sweep your arms all the way up, and exhale, reset. So this is something I've been doing that I love so much, and I want to offer it to you and remember it because it really is nice. So if we're trying to lengthen our spine, then we need to get those shoulders nice and fluid. So let's take a strap, and if you don't have a strap, you can next time have a belt or a necktie or any scarf. It's nice to have props. But if you don't have it today, you'll just use your imagination. So what we're going to do is take the strap up to the top of the arm, right above the elbows. And it does take some yoga just to get in there. And we're going to place our hands on our back. Some of you might decide to turn the hands down. Maybe some of you will turn the hands up. I like to hold the hips. And we're going to squeeze those elbows together. Really squeeze those elbows together, feeling that length. Now bringing your attention to the mountain pose, right? We have the outer heels dropping down. The big toes are plugging in. We're activating those quadriceps, lifting up towards the pelvis, lifting those kneecaps, letting the front ribs slightly drop down, the back ribs slightly lift up. There's a little tiny spiral of the heels spreading apart, almost like you're trying to spread those heels apart where the inner thighs are rolling, and you feel really supported by the floor, very heavy on the floor through the feet. And then the quadriceps lift and you feel that balance. So you're pushing down and engaging upward at the same time. Bring your attention to your bottom here. This is a common area for us to really hold tension. Are you squeezing? Are you clenched? Are you really holding there in a gripping fashion? You can even put your hands there. See if you can let it relax a little bit. You could imagine the muscles around your sits bones lifting, but not overly clenched. And then finally, we're going to slide the head right over our shoulders. The back of the head is right over that lower back. And here we are. We're going to stand still for a moment. Here we go. Big breaths. Long inhales, long exhales. Again, if you feel wound up, opening your mouth and exhaling with that sigh. Very, very good. If you feel pretty balanced here, close your lips and do the Samavriti through the nose. Now, perhaps you can hear my Ujjayi breath. I'll do it a little bit louder. Very soothing. Next week, we'll break down Ujjayi breathing. We'll talk more about that next Tuesday's class. But this class today, we want to focus on mainly having a rhythm where the inhale and exhale are equal, or we're doing the sighing breath. I'm focusing on the idea that so many of us are wound up, so wound up that we don't even know how wound up we are. And so hoping that we find out that and then we can let it go. All right, walking your feet a little bit wider. Keep your hands where they are. And let's see if we can get that boost of gravity again. Squeeze those elbows and drop your head. Of course, if anything is difficult for you or challenging you in a way that doesn't feel safe, of course you won't do it. You're honoring yourself. See if you can give yourself a little nod, nodding your head, yes, I'm letting go of tension, and deciding where specifically you feel the nod occurring. What part of the neck are you actually nodding? See if you can bring some space there. You could even turn your head no. Find out where in the neck this is happening. And again, can you create a little bit of more space there? 2 more breaths. I love yoga. I love it. The next time you exhale, peel your body up, 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 come all the way up. And we're going to take off our strap, taking your hands down, depending upon your level. Maybe you'll put your hands on the blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can just put your hands on the floor, or you'll bring your knees down. That's another modification. Everyone else, we're just going to align those shoulders, put those wrists right under your shoulders, really lock up that belly. You're putting your skeleton in right alignment. You're putting yourself back in place. One more deep breath. The next time you exhale, we're going to gently bring our knees down and come into upward facing dog. Now tip the front rim of your pelvis to the wall behind you, the front rim of the pelvis right below or right above the pubic bone, pulling it back, expanding the front rib cage, lifting the back rib cage. Bring your attention to the glutes. You feel toned but not clenched. Some of you might even bring those toenails down or bring those knees up. One more deep breath. And downward dog. Beautiful. All right, let's start to relax the neck. Bring your knees down, please. Stand your blocks up if you have them. If you don't, then just grab your pillow. And most of us will be on the medium level. I'm going to show you the top level here just because that's where I'm feeling it tonight, where you're going to put the very top of your arm. This is restorative locust. The very head of your shoulder on this block, so it's not down by the arm. If you can, folding the hands down by your hips and just letting your head drop. Again, if that's too much, you can always bring it to a lower level. Or you could bring yourself with a pillow for your head. So what we're doing here is we're pulling those shoulders back and we're releasing our neck. Let the inner thighs roll out. Let those heels roll out. Sit still for a moment. See if you can stretch out those inhales a little bit longer. Stretch out those exhales too. In this moment right now, right here, right now. Two more big breaths. So nice. All right, take your blocks away here. We're going to press ourselves into hands and knees. So you want to decide if this is right for you. And some of you may even decide that you want to have a block. Okay. So a deep twist here. Come into hands and knees. Take your tailbone to the sky and drop your cheek to the block or to the floor. Let the shoulders shrug. And some of us feel really tight here. We need to make sure we're keeping most of our weight in those arms. Those of you who feel like it's nice for you, put those hips right above those knees, and maybe you can drop those hands down by your sides. If this feels too intense, you'll go to the earlier level. Just sit still for a moment. Feel the floor supporting your weight. Noticing what you're showing up with in every single pose. And can you be with it? Can you breathe with it? It's really such a nurturing and deep practice. One more deep breath. So good. And come on up to hands and knees. Some of you might want to take yourself up to the dog. Let that gravity work for you, or hands and knees, and we'll switch sides. Take your other cheek down. One more deep breath. And when you're ready, come on back to sitting. Take your time. If there's something else you want to do before we get there, feel free. Right? It's all about feeling free, really honoring yourself. Let's check in here. Drop the left ear to the left shoulder. Maybe reach that left arm up and gently press that ear to the shoulder. Let the weight of the arm hold you down, and you can reach out. I like to play with floating my hand right above the floor. What's going on for you right now? And can you be with it? It's not about holding this pose for 8 breaths, or freezing. It's about being with it. So if that means bending your elbow, if that means tiptoeing your fingers farther away, let yourself have freedom here to explore, but can you sit with it? Be with it. Very nice. Go ahead and push your head up, and let's switch sides. Drop the other ear down, please. And reaching that right arm up. Again, tiptoe these hands out if that feels right for you. Sway, moving it like an oar. As I said, this is not just happening to you if you feel like you're struggling. It's a really challenging time for all of us. All of us. We're all reeling in some form or another. There's so much to think about, and there's so much uncertainty. And I just feel this pull to do my part, to do my part, as I'm sure you feel your pull to do your part, whether it's with your work or your family, your kids. Just reminding ourselves that we're in this together, and we have this beautiful moment where we can stretch and breathe and seek out that joy and that connection. And then we go back and we feel like, yeah, I got this. That's what I hope these Tuesdays will help bring us together on that. Okay. So let's just turn our head just slightly side to side. Doesn't have to take a long time. We're just hitting the mat for about a half hour. Every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And again, if you're liking it, subscribe to the channel. That will help this channel. It will also help me know that you're enjoying these Tuesday nights. If there's another time you'd prefer, let me know. I just want to stand still, sit still for a moment together. All right, one more round here. So nice to move it around. And we'll just move those shoulders. So depending on what you have going on now, after we do our session, maybe you're going back to your family. I would suggest if you need some energy boost, you'll prop your legs up on the couch, or your new doggy, my dog Sugar,
or a chair or a wall, and that'll give you a big boost of energy when you prop your legs up. I did that on purpose. I don't know why I did that. If you feel like you are preparing for bed, it is really nice to go ahead and lie down flat, putting some curves underneath your knees or curves under your neck, something that will feel really supported, or just go directly to bed and do some breathing. So we're going to conclude with some breath. So finding a position. Can you sit down for me? Can you sit down? Finding something that's calming for your breath, a position that will help you get there, and we'll do it together. Come on. Come on. Good girl. All right, so moving towards your stillness now. Finding that place where you can be still just for 5 more minutes. You'll feel like $1,000,000. All right, what we're going to focus on this last minute or two is Viloma. Viloma is a 3-part breath. It's a really nourishing breathing pattern when you want to relax. So if you're in bed or you're preparing for bed, or even if you're preparing to go back out to your family and you've got your legs propped up, this is a really nice breathing technique. So Viloma means 3-part: collarbones, ribs, and lower belly. So 3 parts to focus our breath. If it feels too long for you on these patterns, then you can always shorten what I'm doing. But we're going to start with a pattern of 6. We'll start with 6. Okay, so ready? Exhale out for the count of 6. Exhale. Breathe in for 6 through your nose. Breathe out for 6. In through the nose. You might be able to breathe through the nose on the exhale too now. Two more rounds just like this. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. If 6 feels like a good rhythm, do it. Otherwise, we're going to move to 9. And now we're going to start to break it into the Viloma. Here we go. Inhale for the count of 9. Ready? Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exhale. 9, 8, 7, 6. Push all the air out. Okay, now just take your normal breaths. Did that pattern of 9 feel safe? Did it feel comfortable? If it didn't, I want you to go to the 6. Okay, now we're ready for Viloma. All right, get relaxed. Exhale out, all the way out. Exhale. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe into just your collarbones. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Breathe into just your ribs. 4, 5, 6. Hold. Breathe into your lower belly. 7, 8, 9. Now hold the breath, soak in all the goodness from it, and then let it go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, breathe into just the collarbones. 1, 2, 3. Hold. See if you can relax. Into your ribs. 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath, but see if you can relax the back muscles. Lower belly now. 7, 8, 9. Hold it, soak it in, all that prana, and then let it go. 9, 8, 7. Push it all out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more together. Inhale through the collars. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Relax the neck. Relax the tongue. Into the ribs. 4, 5, 6. Hold. Relax. Into the lower belly. 7, 8, 9. Holding, soaking all that in, and then let it go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And release. Regular breaths. So that is a great technique to use in the evenings, just focusing the mind on breathing into those 3 parts. holding and soaking the good in it, not straining, but really soaking it in and then watching it go. Okay. So here we are. We're going to finish up. Sit still for a moment. Let this practice bring in whatever it needs to bring in for you, filling up whatever it needs, whatever you need, and may it be of benefit. So Tuesdays at 6 o'clock, Sundays at 2. Please take time to balance out. I know you're working really hard. Make sure you're taking good care of yourself. It's the most loving thing you can do. All right. I'm in there with you. Deep bows and namaste.